I'm now being joined on the program by our former Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mr. Wilson Inalagu, to give some perspectives on the matter in the Southeast region. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. He's in our Abuja studio tonight. Mr. Inalagu, it's good to see you. First and foremost, before we come into the Southeast, let me get your view on the situation I was discussing with the Senator, the majority leader, about the abduction of the student, the terrain there. What do you make of the situation? Now and again, we see these abductions of students, innocent students who are there in their various institutions to learn, and these terrible, evil elements go in there, invade their schools, and abduct them. How can we stop this dastardly act?
It's a pleasure for me to be here. I think it's a sad thing. That plague shouldn't be allowed to stay. But what my take on it is this. Yes, we don't have many officers. The strength of the police is quite low. But technology is a force multiplier. I think we should consider deploying technology as well as engaging and getting into partnership with our various communities. I think a lot of lessons have been learned. Therefore, what needs to be done at this stage is developing appropriate policing priority. The threat has always been there, from Katsina, Zamfara, Kebbi now, Niger, and Kaduna states. We've had this incident over and over and over again. Therefore, what do you need to do? I think we should develop a standard operating procedure for dealing specifically with issues of mass kidnap, particularly those of school children and university students. We've got to do something about it. And in doing that, we may not have the number, but with technology, with partnership with the community, we can do a lot. And what can we do? We should begin to think of a kind of radio alarm security. I recall in those days when we used to have a lot of bank robberies at banks. Some banks were connected to a police station. And once a bank is under attack, it sets off an alarm. So that is important, but that is a product of developing a standard operating procedure for dealing with such incidents, like the case of Bini Yauri that is we are talking about now. I'm told from what I read in the papers that there was intelligence. But then you had 25 officers. Yes, those 25 officers, if adequately equipped, cannot, well, they may not be able to stand 200 or 150 well-armed personnel, hoodlums, but they will be able to a kind of deterrence that on approach, I'm told there were signals that they were coming, nobody knew. So what do you need to do? You have to have a kidnap awareness. When you have such a kidnap awareness, since schools have been targeted, it becomes easy for you to say, look, based on the training and the procedure you may wish to adopt between teachers and students, quickly the students could find themselves, either the school is hurriedly, there is an alarm to the school, and the school is hurriedly closed, the students are evacuated in a way that has been previously planned, based on practice and training the students have been given. In that way, they don't even come. Because in this case, when they are coming, you don't wait for them to select a target. Let the students, after be taken to a place, they will know that once there is such an alarm, what do you do? And those 25 officers become like a kind of rapid response. But then you need to equip them a little bit more. All of them should have body armor. They should have a smoke, what we call tear gas. So there will be a kind of, you create a delay and time. By the time these 25 are engaging them, you've created a delay and time for the students to disappear. And in that case, they will not have them bunched together to be able to take any number up to 20 or 30. I think this is what we should be thinking about, developing a standard operating procedure, creating kidnap awareness, and using technology as a multiplier of force. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for that insight. Perhaps someone is listening, and there is a sense from what you've said that will be taken into consideration, so that we can stop all of this nonsense that I call it, of these very terrible guys that are terrorizing these schools. Let's go into the Southeast region. The governors and the leaders have come to say, look, these guys that are talking about secession, we do not know them. We condemn what they do, but give us a sense of what could have caused that kind of agitation, because there should be a cause, and now we're looking at how to end it. We need to know what's the cause and perhaps how to end it. You've been in that region. You've led men on the ground in that region. Perhaps what a lot of people who have wondered, how did the South region turn into such a region or an area that institutions are being attacked and people are being killed?
I think... let me say we're having leadership. When I was in your studio, I think about 3-4 weeks ago, I had remarked that the major meeting of the Southern governors did not condemn the killing of security personnel. That they have done. They have also taken another step to dissociate themselves from some of the goings on. You see, the excellencies, the governors, have a lot of role to play in dousing tension, in bringing this. But nature abhors vacuum. If you understand your policing environment, what is that thing agitating the people? That is what community policing is all about. That the community and the police come together to address issues of common interest and in a way to solve, it's a kind of problem-solving approach. Now, there were agitations, attacks around Osuka and some of these places. The police force was doing its best. But now that the governors are coming to talk about it, that this is an issue that may have originated, that there were complaints of attack on farms and the rest of them, and many other issues that have arisen. Now, I think there is a kind of understanding. I think there are various communities that people are listening that finally their excellencies are doing something about it. Because Ebubeagu came up, good initiative, but was the timing, was it a bit too little too late? But now, my appeal to our people in the Southeast and all over the country is that the government is determined at whatever level, either at the local government level, at the state level, and the federal level, to address issues of crime and criminality frontally. Let there be support to security agencies. The SA securities to the governors and the commissioners of police and other security chiefs in the various states and local government should now come together and develop policing plan. If you don't develop a policing plan, the security agencies are like doctors. If you go to a consulting room, the doctor cannot just see you and say, oh, you have fever, you have this. The doctor has to ask you. Therefore, I know that the security advisors and the commissioners of police and the SDS and other security chiefs will engage more with the public and know those crimes of concern. Because if you address crimes of concern, it's like a miracle. Agitation, complaints about crime go down. Because you could be addressing a theft of car, but that is not what bothers the people. So all I want to say, there should be support to the police and other security agencies and more engagement with the public. build more partnership. When you build partnership, you begin to hear from the public because they wear the shoe, they know where it pinches. When you begin to address crimes of concern, you begin indirectly to address fear of crime. And in that way, the various communities begin to experience peace. So if when these agitations were coming, I don't think ESN would have come. Ibubiago should have come before ESN to address those issues. When you create a room like that, non-state actors cash on it, capitalize on it, and make your government look as if you are not taking the interests of the public. But I am I think the governors have done great job by coming together to address this issue. So, and from now on, you are going to see the situation change.
On a final note, and perhaps in 30 seconds, if you may, if you can help us, some of the leaders are saying that some of these groups and non-state actors that have arms should lay down their weapons. But what worries me is, where did these weapons come from? And how easy will this the effort in restoring calm be for that region?
It's quite difficult retrieving weapons from people who have them. But the government can, through the various communities, through the various chiefs, I think the government has just set up a small arm recovery or something in the Office of the National Security Advisor. I recall ECOWAS has an office for small arms and all that. I think they have a procedure. Various communities, they are giving incentives that if you submit this number of weapons, you are given. I recall then when we were in the peacekeeping mission in Sierra Leone, every community that submit arms were given about $40,000 US. And then the community will use the money to engage in developmental projects. People know in the communities know who carry these weapons. If you talk to them, they will appeal to them. And then once you give them a grace period and they don't comply, you give them amnesty, then the security forces, through intelligence gathering, will be able to bring get these weapons recovered.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilson Inalagu, a former Assistant Inspector General of Police, thank you so much for your thoughts tonight and some of your technical perspectives that you put into the situation. Thank you so much indeed. And that's how we end the show tonight. Many thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Sean Wakimale, and I must say, Happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.